Hey guys, I'm Destiny. This is Monday Mail number 26, Dramatic Lighting Edition. One of my softboxes is apparently dead. I do not know why, and I do not know how, but it's pretty dead, so I only have one light shining it from the left, so let's just pretend this is like a super moody Monday Mail, and I will, I don't have any moody music for you, because I don't want to get copyright infringed on my own YouTube video, but you can play some in the background. All right, I'm digging into a thread that is a month old. I took a month off Monday Mails just to get... Honestly, there's a whole bunch of shit going on, setting my business up and getting payroll running and a whole bunch of tech shit that like fucking bogged down all of my free time, or consumed pretty much all of my free time over the past month. But thankfully, I'm getting through that. I think I've got a large chunk of political stuff behind me now that I don't have any more actual debate or memes lined up or anything like that. So yeah, I'll go back to doing these every week. I'll have the next thread posted. If you check in the comments below or the description or whatever, I'll have the next thread and all that good stuff. So... The first question is, why is your name Steven Bonnell II instead of Steven Bonnell Jr.? This is a pretty fucking boring question. It comes from Monshare N, okay? So blame this guy for the horrible first question. When my dad remade his name, I guess. When my dad went to name me, he never wanted to be called Senior because he said he thought it would make him feel old. So he named me the second so he could continue to be Stephen Kenneth Bonnell the first. And then I would be Stephen Kenneth Bonnell the second. He said he liked the way that sounded more than him being a senior. And looking back on it, I'm kind of grateful because I don't think I would have liked the junior, Stephen Bonnell Jr., or being called like junior. I don't know, like all of that seems like really shitty to me. So I'm glad I got the second instead. Looks a little bit more regal, a little bit more elegant. Not elegant. Regal was a good word. It looks more, it reeks of royalty. There we go. The second question comes from YungShemaleToes. If you weren't going to major in music, what else would you have majored in? This is a really hard question for me to ask me, because I guess I have a lot of interest in a lot of different areas. If I were to go back to that very specific moment in time in my life, I probably would have been torn between something in probably biology or something in computer science. I didn't have any programming background at all. Well, not really. I mean, like I kind of like made like scripts for my old MUD related stuff on a program called Mush Client, which had some, what was it, like a Luna editor? I don't even remember, dude. It's been so long. But aside from like a little bit of scripting there, I did have a lot of hands-on experience, you know, like because I'd built my own computer and I'd helped a few friends with their computer-related stuff out. Not as much as I obviously have today, and it pales in comparison to what I have today. But I mean, at the time, it was enough that I was relatively interested in computer-related things that maybe I would have gone into something computer-related, but probably not. I think it would have been something science-related. It probably would have been something biology-related, because biology has always been like a really fascinating subject for me personally. When you dig into just everything. I mean, everything in biology is fascinating. Do I need to justify that? Biology is like really fucking cool. If you look at like any simple system from your body, whether it's, you know, muscular growth or your immune system or the way that your body sends signals around down your fucking spine and shit through the ion channels and all that, like, yeah, that shit is crazy fucking awesome. Or into anything related to genetics, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Biology is like really fucking sick, dude. So I probably would have did something in that respect. I would imagine. It's really hard to say, though. I don't know if I ever have a time machine. I'll go back and ask myself so I can give you a more accurate answer, but that's my guess. Destiny, your political discussions encouraged me to challenge others, friends and family, on their beliefs through social media. Though I am cordial, I find that people are very emotionally invested in these beliefs. As a result, I've strained some personal relationships doing this. Is it our responsibility as citizens to challenge others, or is the risk of needlessly strained relationships too high? I don't really know what the correct answer is to this. This is something that I've been wrestling with lately. A lot of questions related to this. For instance, does a person's political beliefs make them a bad person? I don't know. That's a really hard question to ask. And I know a lot of you real fast, there's a lot of probably right-leaning people that are jumping real fast because you've had people say this. You're like, no, Destiny, that's not true. You can't hate somebody just because they're blah, 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 blah. But you don't even believe that. You don't believe that. Because if I told you that like I was a neo-Nazi, or I was a member of the Ku Klux Klan, or I was a member of Westboro Baptist Church, or, you know, I believed in some other equally abhorrent ideology, you'd probably say, like, okay, if those are your political beliefs, then I guess it's okay to hate a person. So obviously it's okay to not like somebody or to make value judgments of a person based on their political beliefs, but how far out does that extend? You know, does a person that says, you know, I hate all types of welfare, and I think black people just need to get their shit together, and pick themselves up and work the shit out and stop, you know, fucking up their culture in America, is that person really a racist, or is that person really like an abhorrent person that you don't want to associate with? that's a really hard. I don't know. That's like a really hard question. I'm not really sure where you draw the line at there. And it's something that, like, personally, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Damn, it's a really, really, really tough question. When in looking at like people and their political beliefs, very rarely do people have like segregated out, like, these are my personal beliefs, these are my political beliefs. I believe these things because of these reasons, and if I was convinced that these reasons were wrong, I would change my mind on these issues. Very few people function in that realm. Usually, your political beliefs become like intrinsic to who you are, and you end up staking a lot of your own personal credibility and your personal emotional well-being into these beliefs, right? So, for instance, like religion is a good example, right? Are you going to convince somebody in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s as easily as you can convince somebody in their teens to not be religious? To convince somebody in their 30s or 40s that religion is wrong, that's like a massive fucking undertaking. Like, you're telling them to pretty much say that they've been wrong for the past 20 or 30 or 40 years of their life about something that they believe very strongly in. And it's something that they've built a lot of their life around, right? So all the time they spent going to mass was wasted, or church or temple or whatever, or synagogue or whatever the fuck your particular flavor religion is, right? All the whatever religious myths or whatever they believe in, and all the celebrations and everything, their family, their relationships maybe even are somewhat defined by their religions, the things they wanted to do but didn't do because of their religions, the things they did do that they didn't want to do because they're like, you're asking somebody to pretty much go back and say you fucked up a major part of a lot of your life. How do you tell somebody that? How do you get somebody to believe that, right? That requires an extraordinary leap of self-awareness that most people probably just don't have. I'm kind of just talking around this. I don't really have a good idea. I personally, I challenge everybody that I talk to, because I really don't care if I have a lot of friends. I don't really need a lot of friends. I get along very well by myself, and maybe just like one or two other people. I have a relationship and maybe a couple of close friends, I guess. But that's it. So I really don't care if people get mad at me or not. I consider it personally to be one of the most important things that somebody can do is to challenge themselves. So, I mean, I'll do it as much as I can. If someone says something that I think is dumb, yeah, I'll argue the fuck out of it with them. And at the very least, I mean, yeah, but I understand what you're saying too, because sometimes you argue with these people and you don't really get anywhere doing it, right? They just get frustrated, you get frustrated, and then everybody just feels kind of sour, and it's like, what the fuck was the point of all of this? I don't even know. Damn, dude, that's a question that you have to figure out on your own. I don't know what the correct answer is there. I guess keep talking to people. There's probably better ways you can phrase things. I'm always really, really aggressive in my conversations. I get frustrated with people very quickly. So it's hard for me to have... I feel like if you look at the last video I think that was posted on this channel, was my discussion with the race realist. It's very, very difficult for me to talk to somebody that this is going to sound really bad, but if I view somebody as being on a far lower level of critical thinking than myself, it's very hard for me to have a discussion with that person. So let me give an example. There's a guy in chat called X Skills Me. This is a guy that I disagree with a lot on certain issues, okay? One of the things that we argued most recently over was whether or not Trump's recent ban was a Muslim ban or not. My contention was that it was a Muslim ban, and his contention was that it wasn't. I don't think we could be more diametrically opposed on that particular question. I don't think it's possible to be. And we were absolutely, at the end of that conversation, neither one of us had budged an inkling, okay? But I understand his thought process, and I think he understands my thought process, so I have a respect for his process. I just really disagree with the steps that he took to get there. But I respect his thought process, and I'll have conversations with him in the future. I don't think that I don't think that I'll avoid talking to him because I disagree with him on these one things, right? Now, if I compare him to my most recent caller, the race realist guy that was posted on this channel, and I'm talking to somebody who thinks that they can make these broad, sweeping claims, these massive generalizations based upon 1 or 2 points of data, I don't know how to have a conversation with a person like that, because to have a proper talk with them, you have to back up and you have to explain so many elementary concepts like, hey, just because you know this fact doesn't mean you can extrapolate it this much. Just because you know this one thing doesn't mean that it's all of these things, right? And there are a lot of people that are really well respected and really intelligent that fall into these traps. Ben Shapiro is somebody that's very widely regarded as being a very intelligent person on the right, and he falls into these same cognitive pitfalls. He has a video video where he talks about how there are over 700 or 800 million radical Muslims in the world. And at the beginning of the video, he talks about how, well, radicalized people are the ones that, fly planes into buildings and shit. And then when he goes on to define what is a radical, it's usually things like how many people believe in Sharia law, right? Like, how does that, like, first of all, what does that even mean? Sharia law varies from person to person and from place to place. Sharia law is just an Islamic person's idea of how do political people interpret a religious text to pass down laws that are in accordance with Islam to Muslim people, right? For some of these people, maybe in Saudi Arabia, it involves chopping your fucking hand off or whatever. But in Indonesia, not as much, right? Different people have different interpretations of Sharia law. And this statement is ridiculous. It would be similar to me saying all of these Christians are radicalized. If you were to poll Christians and say, how many of you believe that our laws should be biblical laws, should be based on biblical laws, right? There'd probably be a lot of Christians that would say so. I wish I would have looked up a Pew Research poll before this. But there'd probably be a lot of Christians that would think so. Now, Christian law entails a lot of really fucking crazy things. First of all, one of the 10 commandments literally says the only God you can have is God, right? Another commandment, there are 2 commandments based around ever being jealous, right? One is jealousy of your neighbor's wife, and another is jealousy of your neighbor's possessions, right? Which is the entire driving force behind capitalism. And another commandment is literally don't work on the Sabbath, which is Saturday or Sunday, I guess, depending on your interpretation of the holy of Scripture. So, but I wouldn't consider all of these Christians to be radicalized Christians, right? No, of course not. It's just they're to be radicalized, you have to go way deeper into it, right? So yeah, so backing up, it's really hard for me to have conversations with people that so easily fall into these cognitive pitfalls, because once you're down in that level, there is no communicating with that person. You can't talk to a person from up here about their interpretation of stats if they don't even understand how to interpret stats or how to interpret data or what it is they're even talking about. I don't know how to communicate with people like that. I probably do. It would take a very calm setting, and it would take multiple hours of like instruction. And I'm not even like a fucking teacher, right? I don't claim that I'm super smart on all of this or anything. I'm not, but just like a basic understanding of how like data and stats work. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer to your question is. Talk to people if you want to talk to them. A lot of people say that you should never bring up politics around friends or family. There's a reason for that. They can be very divisive. I guess at the end of the day, just decide if it's how important a relationship is for you to keep. That's what I would say. Anyway, those are your 3 questions. There was a first question posted that had to do with relationships. Typically, I don't mind answering personal questions. I'm not very personal. Like I'm pretty okay. I'm open with most public things, but I don't like answering personal questions involving other people because I feel like it's kind of a betrayal of their privacy, and I don't really want to like bring out into light other people. Like, so for instance, if you were to ask me like, what was your relationship like growing up with your parents or something, I don't think I would mind answering that. But if it was like a more personal question involving like my mom or dad, I don't think I would be so keen on like, what is the worst experience your mom has ever lived through or something. I don't think I would be as keen on sharing that information just because it seems a little bit more disrespectful. But yeah. Anyway, link to the next Monday Mail is in the description below. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week, the next Monday Mail.